Hi Rahul sir,
Hi,
how are you?
all good, all good.
Great,
Winding up, preparing to descend.
perfect. So my first question goes to about this particular 2019 Devteba expedition. How it started.
Well, it started because Venkat, who's a very dear friend and almost like a soul brother now, uh, he had some unfinished business. This mountain is unfinished business for him. Sadly, it continues to remain so because, in spite of initial conditions being very good this year, we had to abort the mission because up in the gully, which is beyond the summit camp, we had actually established summit camp, but in the gully, which would eventually lead us to Devtiba, there was a very high grade avalanche risk. We've been having persistent snowfall over the last 4 5 days before that, and a fresh layer of powder snow which has accumulated about 3 feet on top of the earlier layer, which was weak, was causing huge slab avalanches. This normally happens under such kind of conditions. When you get fresh powder on top of consolidated snow, you get a very high avalanche risk. And sadly, the team which was attempting to climb the mountain before us, they barely escaped with their lives because while they were fixing the rope in the gully, a huge slab broke and created a massive avalanche in which one of the lead guides got stuck and he got injuries on his back. So we had to go for a reconnaissance, and when we went for a reconnaissance, we found that the conditions were very risky. The whole pack was very unstable, and attempting to negotiate the gully would have been nothing short of suicidal at that point of time. So we discussed the situation with Venkat, with the rest of the team, and in our years of experience, we found it prudent not to attempt the gully at that point of time. Instead, we climbed another feature, which is called Norbu's Peak, which is that snow hump over there, and it was a good alternative. The whole team managed to sort of perform creditably on it, and the views were just spectacular. And all in all, I would say it's a bit of a bittersweet experience because all of us wanted to climb the Uthiba this time around, but the mountain had other plans. And whenever you're in the Himalaya or any mountain range for that matter, you have to respect the will of the mountains most of all. Because ultimately humans come and go, but the mountains are steadfast, they're there forever.
Being an director and the founder of Mystic Himalayan Trails, would like to understand about your a bit of experience, how it started, and since how many years that you have been in this. I heard like you're into varied streams. Just would like to have the benefit of understanding about it.
Well, Shravan, it's been nearly 2 decades, I would say, 2 decades to be precise, that we've been running this operation in one capacity or the other. Mystic Himalayan Trails itself, the outfit has been in operation since 2007. So, other than mountaineering, conducting trekking expeditions, one of our primary interests is in conserving this fragile ecosystem of the Western Himalaya. So we also work very close with the advocacies which are working in that direction. For instance, the International Snow Leopard Trust. I work as an outreach conservationist with those guys, and this is again an association which dates back about 10 years. And I make it a point to go every winter to Spiti to spend some time there, work with the communities, work with conservation outreach, because of a very simple philosophy on which this outfit is based.
Okay.
The mountains have given us so much, especially this part of the Himalaya and the Trans-Himalaya. It is a central part of who we are as an outfit, as an organization. And even for me personally, I define myself with these mountains.
Great.
So, since these mountains have given us so much and formed such an incredible part of our lives, it's time to give back. So that is what we're trying to do through Mystic Himalayan Trails, because our expeditions are not just adventures. They're also a means of introducing our clients to the beauty of the Western Himalaya
Great.
and hopefully getting them to fall in love with it and having a stake in the conservation of these mountains.
Awesome. Awesome.
So we do it through Mystic Himalayan Trails, and personally, me, Harsh, in our individual capacities, we also try and do it by working for these advocacies such as the Snow Leopard Trust, which are actually doing something in the field.
Perfect.
So overall, I would say in a nutshell, that is our philosophy.
That's really commendable, Rahul. and you will always stay as an inspirational figure for us, because I got to know that you have staples in your shoulder and you have got injury in your knee
Well.
through some expedition. Because we were struggling to take few of the loads on our shoulders, but you stood your stands and you've climbed up to that gully with a lot of efforts in the snowfall. And besides that complication, you really will stand as an inspirational figure for
Thank
all
you.
of us.
That's really kind of you, Shravan. That's really kind of you. And I must end by saying that all of you performed very creditably. I'm very impressed with all of you. You, in spite of being unwell, persisted. That is indeed a commendable trait. And Venkat is someone who is very, very dear to me. He has come very close to my heart because of how he refuses to give up. And the book, I think, is very well written, Unfailing. Because I think his journey has just begun. And the way he's going about it, I don't think he's going to give up easily. And that is something that, for me, as an old-fashioned mountaineer, someone who was impressed by people like Eric Shipton and Herman Buell, that is indeed a commendable and respectable trait. And what do I say about Sriram? Sriram is the one who has amazed me the most.
Kudos, Sriram.
He's the one who has amazed me the most. Without any formal training, without anything, the way he performed on the mountain, I was just blown away. I was blown away. Without any training, without even knowing how to handle an ice axe before this expedition. This is
Seriously.
incredible.
Great.
Kudos, Sriram.
Thank
Good,
you,
good, good,
Rahul.
Sriram. Kudos,
It was
kudos.
great being with you actually. It was my pleasure.
I loved spending time with you guys. Hopefully we'll get more chances.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
would love
You
to
and I
see
are
you.
looking forward
I would
for
love to see you guys, because see, this was just an expedition. But if these mountains mean something to you, please do make sure that you give something back to the Himalaya.
Sure.
Definitely, definitely,
So
Rahul.
we'll be looking forward for your message towards the snow leopard expedition and how we can contribute towards that.
Let me just end on one note. There's a beautiful reference in the Skanda Purana about the Himalaya. Narada, the great sage of the Devas, says, "In 100 ages of the gods, I could not tell thee of the glories of Himachal where Shiva lives.
Lovely.
As the dew is dried by the mountain sun, so are the sins of mankind by the mere sight of these mountains."
Wow.
We would love to hear the verses.
I can't recall them right now, but this is what it translates into. And actually, the concept of India without the Himalaya is incomplete.
Great.
Without these mountains, there would be no India.
Indeed.
There would be no Bharata. So, as Indians, I think all of us should have this bond with the Himalaya and should work towards their protection.
Yes.
Certainly.
So, I'd like to end on that note.
Thank you so much, Rahul. We wish
It has been my pleasure, and
to journey with you again.
I look forward to that. I look
Thank you so
forward
much.
to
All the best. Bye
that.
bye.
All the best.